Friends and neighbors, welcome back to Mission Control Houston's Hockey Podcast. I remain your host, Matt Savage, and I just gotta be straight with y'all. The intrusive thoughts are winning. Most of the podcast gurus that I follow that talk about how to grow your channel, they say that I should, reel in the audience, have something really interesting that's gonna get their attention within the first 30 seconds of the video. And I ain't got it. What I have for you today, my friends, is an uncomfortable question. And if I'm continuing to be honest, I have some trauma dumping for you. In fact, I think I need you to talk me down. Here's the uncomfortable question. Are we going to blow it? Like, everything looks clear. We talked about it last episode for NHL expansion to Houston, right? But if you're as old as I am, and, the YouTube demographics say most of you are younger, you remember a Houston that's known for coming up short. Disappointment. And let's be honest about what we do as sports fans. We watch and we try to will an outcome that we really have no control over. So yeah, everything looks great. And when that Board of Governors meeting happened 2 weeks ago, and you heard that there's rival cities, and some are reporting 4, but I'm counting 7 rival cities. But we'll get to that here in a second. I'm like, at first I'm like, man, everything's great. All the criteria we did in the hockey math episode, where we said, well, Houston's beaten everyone in terms of corporate presence and median income and demographic trend, and everything looks great. But then time passes. I'm starting to worry. So this is where I need your help. Talk me down. So you heard the news. With the cities that keep getting reported are Houston, of course, Atlanta, Indianapolis was a surprise, New Orleans, which I'm going to continue to make fun of, and then the surprise 5th city, Austin. But there's others too. If you watched Bettman's interview with Pat McAfee on NHL on ESPN, he mentions 2 other cities that aren't getting reported. He's mentioning that he heard from Cincinnati and Quebec City. And a lot of people would prefer Quebec City. So let's talk about really what has me worried. Let's just go down the list here. First, there's Atlanta. And I think conventional wisdom is it's going to be Houston and Atlanta. I still logically believe it's going to be Houston and Atlanta. Atlanta's got the metro population. They got the TV market. And I know we're in an era of streaming, but TV market size is still important. They got the high demographic trend. People are moving there. They got the corporate presence in Coca-Cola, Delta, Home Depot, UPS. No state income tax. They're affordable. So all the things that really we have going for us too. So yeah, we can probably expect Houston and Atlanta, and we're not too worried about it. But then, as the cities are getting announced, Indianapolis. And who saw that coming? I didn't see it coming. I've done the hockey math on prospective cities, and I never included Indianapolis. Nothing against them, but it's just, I've never heard in any mention that Indianapolis was a contender. So I ran the math with them like I did with all the other cities. And you may recall where we came out with the hockey math. Houston's number 1 in terms of what the league is looking for. Corporate presence, median income, yada, yada. You can go back and watch the episode if you want. Houston's number 1. Atlanta's number 2. Phoenix, number 3. San Diego, number 4. But when I add in Indianapolis, they're number 5. I mean, if we look at the math, if we look at the things that the league cares about, Houston, Atlanta, Indianapolis isn't a stretch. And even though we're not hearing that Phoenix has a bid put in, the powers that are behind a potential Phoenix bid are saying, we're not announcing anything until we have something to announce, because they understand the situation there. They understand the volatility. They understand the public reaction and the poo-pooing of any potential effort to bring hockey back to the desert, because just how poorly things went with the Yotes. So Houston, Atlanta, Phoenix, Indianapolis? Sure, I can see that. What gets me concerned, though, is one of these potential cities going to put in such a strong bid and Houston kind of half-ass it, and then we get left out again? Indianapolis looks promising. TV market size, corporate presence, income level. They have a sports infrastructure. I mean, all they're missing is hockey, so why not Indianapolis? But let's talk about some of the other contenders too. I have this pet theory that Gary retires after bringing in new cities. And when you're retiring, you look at your legacy. He did expand the game. I mean, we're playing hockey down south. We're buying tickets and merch and all that. Atlanta to correct the Thrashers. Phoenix to correct the Coyotes. You don't think he wants to do something about Quebec City? I do. You don't think that he wants to bring in another Canadian city just so people stop complaining about him? I do. Doesn't make financial sense. They're a small TV market with a low population. Honestly, the players don't want to play in Quebec. They want to go play in warm climate areas, And besides, all the former Nordique fans are now Canadian fans. I mean, Montreal's right there. But what has me concerned is, number one, Gary's legacy building. They got that 18,000 arena there, so that'll work. And again, Gary's legacy building. Other cities that we haven't heard a lot from yet, Cincinnati's in there. And I'm not really worried about Cincinnati. I mean, again, they're competing with Columbus and Pittsburgh and Nashville. They're, not exactly around the corner, but they're not really far away either. And Cincinnati, their demographic trend is growing, but it's growing slowly. And I think the league would rather be in markets where there's more explosive growth. But, again, major leagues are a corporate game. And Cincinnati's got Procter & Gamble. They got Kroger. I mean, Cincinnati could surprise us. Then the one that's getting all the attention, Austin. And when I first heard Austin, I started kind of laughing because it's like, no. So the worst experience I've ever had in my life watching a hockey game, was in Austin. I went and saw the Ice Bats in whatever little small barn they were playing in. And, the game was secondary. It was an excuse to hang out and drink beer, which I support. I suppose that's what all sports are. But, I mean, didn't have a knowledgeable fan base. People were standing up while the puck was in play. No one was paying attention to the game. So, I kind of don't want them. I think I told you this before. Maybe I haven't. I don't know. I'm told that the H-E-B Center in Cedar Park and the Texas Stars have really grown and they're doing well there, but I still don't see Austin as a contender. Dallas isn't that far. Closer than we are anyway. They're really a mid-sized market. I mean, now if Houston wants to put an AHL affiliate in, now Dallas already has their AHL affiliate in Austin. That's fine. But NHL, no. And here's something else that makes me think, Austin isn't going to happen. And that is, you need to have a private-public partnership with sports teams and arenas and things like that. And Austin is all in for University of Texas, as you would expect and as they should be. I can't imagine something that takes any attention off of University of Texas athletics getting built and having any kind of public support. So I don't think so. But again, that was my initial thought. And time passes. They have a strong demographic trend. People are moving there. Young people are moving there. People remain loyal to their college towns and college experiences. I mean, Freebirds isn't that great, but how many people just love Freebirds because that's what they had in college, you know? People want to live in Austin because it's kind of quirky, young, you know? Corporate presence is there. There's major offices for Dell, for Apple, for Google, for Meta. I'm forgetting one. Dell, Apple. Oh, Tesla. That's it. Yeah. So there's young money, corporate sponsorship opportunities. But what has me really worried about Austin is they would be the first major league team in the city. And boy, the NHL likes that because they see the success that they had in Nashville and in Vegas and in, you know, they think that they can duplicate it again. And then there's the other one that we talk about, and that's New Orleans. New Orleans has an arena. Yeah, a lot of places have arenas. So what? I mean, I'm even in my most worrisome frame of mind, I don't really take New Orleans seriously as a threat. You know, no one wants to live there. You know, demographic trend is decreasing. Yeah, I don't see that happening. So what has me worried about all these cities more than anything is Houston itself. Sometimes we got to tell the truth. Houston has a lot going for it, you know. We got the corporate presence with all the oil and gas companies, you know, ExxonMobil, Phillips 66, Cisco, Halliburton. I'm forgetting one. Look at the notes. ConocoPhillips. Fourth largest city in the country. We're trending to be number 3 eventually, overtaking Chicago in population. Toyota Center's having its renovations. I know the league would rather have a new stadium, and that might come one day. But, you know, we got something ready. It's going to be nice, you know. No state income tax, low cost of living. We're multicultural, which means we got better food. But it's Houston. And old timers know what I mean by that, right? Like, you know, just what's our hockey tradition? Oh, the arrows and Gordie Howe. Okay, yeah. But what's really our hockey tradition? Missing the 1979 merger? The Arrows leaving in 2013 and there being a void ever since? Missing out on when the North Stars relocated to Texas? And remember, they were considering Houston first. But Les Alexander blocked that because he had his new arena, the Summit, and didn't want to share it. And hey, Reunion Arena is available. Are we going to blow it? What's our football tradition? You know, Oilers make the AFC championship game twice, but lost. They never got to a Super Bowl until after they leave the city. Remember those 7 straight years where it was first round out in the playoffs from 87 to 93? What about the choke? The 1992 loss against the Buffalo Bills, where they give up a 32-point lead and it remains the biggest comeback in NFL history. And then they remodel the Astrodome to make Bud Adams happy, and he moves anyway. Yeah, but Savage, you're forgetting we got the Texans now, and the future looks bright with the Texans. I don't know, maybe, but I'm skeptical. Old timers are skeptical. You know, haven't got past the divisional round yet. You know, what's the story on the Texans? It's still Deshaun, isn't it? The refusal to fire bad coaches, trading away Hopkins. Okay, fine. And maybe you're listening to this and you're going, yeah, Savage, but you're cherry picking. You're not talking about the success this town has had. And you're right, I haven't. So let's talk about the success. Rockets won 2 titles, sure. What happened after that? Actually, what happened before that? It was just a few months prior to the Rockets winning their first title that both the Houston Post and the Houston Chronicle had Choke City as their front page headline. Both newspapers. And young people are going, well, what's the Houston Post? And really young people are going, what's a newspaper? And during that first title run, remember the Vernon Maxwell quote? They're playing to an empty stadium where he says, maybe the Oilers and Astros have got these people scared, but we ain't them. We got some warriors in this locker room. Why is the stadium empty? Well, Vernon, because it's Houston, and we just know not to get our hopes up. Oh, sure. They won the 2 titles, and that was fun. I bought the hat. I mean, I don't really follow basketball, but it's a fun time. We finally won some. This, the celebration was kind of fun. And then time moves on. We get a new crop of players. Harden forces his trade, and teams never really gotten back. And sure, the future looks bright, but it's not unreasonable to be skeptical. Okay, Savage, but what about the Astros? Everyone loves the Astros. The Astros are inevitable. You're right. No, they're doing great. And in fact, I'm recording this when I am on Sunday afternoon, so I can go watch the game when this is over. And yeah. So let's talk about their World Series appearance. The one in 2005 where they got swept. My big complaint about the Astros has always been that we have statues of Bagwell and Biggio, and they kept choking in the playoffs. Hey, do you remember when the team is first sold to Jim Crane, 2011 to 2013, those first 3 years, 3 straight 100-loss seasons, the Lastros era? But you're right, I'm being unfair because we need to talk about success. That first World Series win, that every other team in the league will point out the trash can scandal. By the way, I still think it's a legit banner and a legit win because every other team in the league was doing it too. And there's a reason that the Mets and Yankees and Dodgers and Red Sox didn't get in any kind of trouble, just like the Astros almost got away with the whole thing. That's still what the Astros are known for league-wide. So, okay. Even a dumb animal is once bitten, twice shy. We've talked before in the Houston's Hockey History episode of all the times that we almost got a team. And I agree, we're closer than we've ever been. And yet, I'm still uncomfortable. So this is where I need you, boys and girls, friends and neighbors. Talk me down, because the intrusive thoughts are winning. Tell me why this is going to happen. Savage, in your last episode, didn't you say that you think an announcement's coming in December? Yeah. Do you not believe? No, I believe it. Do you think a team's coming in 2028? No. Yeah, I really do. I really do. That's not clickbait. You'll notice I didn't put it in any episode title or anything. But I'm also aware that this is Houston. And we've kind of learned to expect a problem, right? Well, anyway, that's the depression talking. Again, I would like for you to talk me down. There are other things to discuss, though. So let's elevate the mood for a bit. I want to show you some things here, right? So this past Friday night was the Houston Hockey Community Gala, as people are pronouncing it, and it's probably right. So, okay, Gala. And I really enjoyed that, and I got to tell you, when I go to things like this or the Houston Hockey Hall of Fame banquet, I'm like, this is mostly organized by players, the men's leagues, the rec leagues, and all that stuff. And I kind of, I kind of feel a little like maybe I shouldn't go to this because I'm not involved in the, I'm a fan, I'm not a player, and it's like maybe I shouldn't. But I got to tell you, for both the Houston Hockey Hall of Fame banquet and for last night or Friday night's fundraiser, people were so cool. Talked to some cool people, some people I met before and some I haven't. Brett Severin couldn't have been nicer. Brett Hull, same thing. Let me show you things, huh? So, firstly, it feels like I shouldn't have Gritty with that puck, but whatever. Oh, I need to show you that. Actually, let me show you that first. So one of the things the wife and I are into is, I look like the meme, right? The Wojak meme. All right, well, whatever. But the wife and I are into tiki bars and tiki stuff. That's like one of our things. And we went to Lalo. I don't know if you go to Lalo, but it's like the Houston Tiki Bar. And she saw this here. Yep, that's a mug. You drank out of, or one could. I'm not going to. But the wife saw this here tiki mug. And she's like, oh, look, it's your mascot. We need to get that. So there you go. It's now a prominent place in the studio. But anywho, watch all the books fall. There you go. Brett Hull signed that. Well, now it's reflected my screen. But Brett Hull signed my puck. And Savage, the gold pin isn't showing up well. I know, but what are you going to do? I mean, black's not going to show up well. Silver's not going to show up well. I mean, I thought about dark green. But anyway, that seemed like the least bad option. But whatever, Brett Hull signed it. And check this out. All right. This will also take a place in the studio. Boom. Let's see here. What's the camera picking up? There you go. I got Hull and Severin with this high quality replica Stanley Cup banner. That will also take a place in the studio. But the studio's going to have some changes. New set pieces and things like that. Is it going to happen before the next episode? No idea. Summers are really, really busy for me. It's like, I know, teacher? Yeah, I know, but I take on a lot of stuff. So we'll see. So anyway, kids, my whole point about, meeting cool people and, talk to Michel Petit for a bit about his Woodlands thing, just more encouragement than anything else. And no, I don't have new information for you. And if I did, I wouldn't share it without permission. But my point being with these things is, I would love to see next year's, charity gala have more people. I would love to see next year's Houston Hockey Hall of Fame banquet have more people attending and, generating some buzz. Now, I think when the team announcement happens, we'll get some more interest, sure. But, yeah. So join me. Oh, someone came up and said hi to me, recognizing me from the podcast. And it's like, cool. That's cool. I also noticed the subscriber numbers are ticking up too, which is nice. So with that, boys and girls, let's talk about some things, huh? What did we learn today? Well, you learned that your host has some anxiety issues, I suppose. And this is where I need you. Savage, we're getting the team. Calm down. If you want to tell me information that you got from this show, cool. If you got some other angles, that's fine too. but I'd love to hear from you and your thoughts and all that. And secondly, other thing we learned, these hockey fan events, they're cool, and you should join me, right? So with that, boys and girls, let's remember, teach your friends the game. Get more people interested. And with that, friends and neighbors, we're out.